Hey everybody, welcome back to the Working Man's Whiskey. I'm Bobby. Guys, today's review that I'd like to do is this bottle here. It's the David Nicholson 1843. And I got this bottle the day before Thanksgiving. It's my tradition every year to get a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 for Thanksgiving, which I did. But went to the bottle barn and I was actually looking at Rare Breed, Wild Turkey Rare Breed. I love Rare Breed. It's a little more expensive though, and I was thinking about getting that one, but at the end of the day, I ended up going with 101, and also getting this bottle here, which is the David Nicholson 1843, as I mentioned. And together they were about the same price as the Rare Breed would have been. So, like, you know what? Got to try this stuff out. I'd never seen it on shelves around here before. I've heard of it a couple of times. It's got a lot of history behind it. But as I said, I've never seen it, and I knew I had to try it out. So ended up getting it, guys. So it says Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's just to let you know, it's a wheated whiskey. Wheat being the second highest percentage grain behind corn instead of rye, like a lot of bourbons do have. So wheated whiskeys, you think of Van Winkle, you think of Weller, and it's funny because those two names are connected to this name here. So another reason that I want to try this out. They're not connected anymore, but more on that in a second. It says, this fine bourbon still possesses the outstanding character and quality established by the David Nicholson Distillery's original 43 recipe. And then, if you guys can see that little gold stamp there, that lets you know that this won the double gold medal at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition in 2015, and I believe it also won in 2017 as well. Could be wrong on that, but I know it's won 2 different years, and I believe they were 2015, 2017. So anyway, wanted to try this out. Love the bottle. It's got the cork. It's got that Old West look to the bottle, which I love. And this started out, guys, of course, 1843 is when David Nicholson, he had a general store in Missouri. And in the back room of this general store, I actually have a story right here, but he would create the recipe of his own bourbon. And from what I hear, this recipe is pretty close to the original to this day. And the cool thing is, near the end of the 1800s, we're talking in the 1890s, Julian Van Winkle and W.L. Weller were working together. They were part of the Stitzel Weller distilling company, and they started producing David Nicholson's 1843, the 43 recipe. And it's pretty cool that this guy, he, as I said, he had a grocery store, a general store back then, and he created this whiskey, and that these two guys, Julian Van Winkle, Pappy Van Winkle, and W.L. Weller, would take and kind of, they liked the stuff so much that they started producing it. So that's pretty neat. And I love Pappy Van Winkle. I've had a few of the I've had the 23-year Family Reserve. Never, of course, I've never bought my own bottle, guys. It's way out of my price range. You know, I've had it through friends who have been able to get bottles. Um, and then I love anything that Weller puts out. I love the old Weller Antique, um, the WO Weller Special Reserve, um, the 12 year that they have. I mean, it's good stuff. And I love weeded whiskey. Weeded bourbons are great. So, love that there's a connection there between David Nicholson and Weller and Van Winkle. So, read you what I found on the website, which is pretty much what I've already said. I'll just read exactly what it says on the website. It says, in the private back room of a grocery store on North 6th Street in St. Louis, Missouri, unbeknownst to its forefather, a legacy was born. The store's owner, David Nicholson, created the famed 43 bourbon recipe. Little did he know that his recipe would be passed on and passed down, remaining unaltered for almost 2 centuries. Still possessing the outstanding character for which it earned its original popularity in 1843, the David Nicholson legacy lives on unchanged, unfettered, and unmatched. Pour a glass and taste the heritage. So, pretty neat stuff, guys. And when I was reading about this, it sounded like it was right up my alley. The high proof. I mean, I really feel that in a lot of cases, anyway, the higher the proof, the more character you're going to get. I don't like. I shouldn't say I don't like. I like a lot of whiskeys that are 80 proof or a little more than that. But I really like the higher ones better in most cases, just because I feel like a lot of people water down their whiskey too much. That's why I like the cask strength, the barrel proof whiskeys, because I want to taste what was in that barrel. If you put too much water, if you water it down too much. It's hard to really taste what was going on in that barrel. So, 100 proof, that's right around where I usually like to be. And let's try this one out, guys. All right. So, as you can see, I have some water here as well. You guys know how I feel about water. Me personally, don't like water too much in my whiskey. Don't like ice. I love just straight, neat whiskey. But, for the sake of just seeing what we have, without water and with water, we'll go with it today. So, we'll take a look at this, and if you guys can see up against the wall there, it's a medium amber. It's not too light, not too dark, right there in the middle. So, I call it a solid amber color. Give it a nose. All right, guys. I like this nose already. I can tell it's a wheated whiskey. Wheat tends to give you more of a just a softer nose, and on the palate as well. But that nose, how whiskeys, bourbons with rye is the second, primary or second highest grain in the mash bill. Rye just gives you more of a spice, more of a sharpness on the nose. The wheat just tends to be a little softer. Just give you some nice. I don't know how you describe them, like velvety type. Sometimes like fruity notes. Sometimes just a solid weedy note. But either way, definitely a softer nose on this one here. But I will tell you that there's a good amount of to make up for that kind of lack of rye. Um, there is a little bit of sharpness, a little bit of um, I shouldn't say sharpness, but a little bit of an edginess to it. I think brought on by the wood. This one here is pretty woody. It's a pretty woody whiskey. And me personally, I know some people don't like woody, really woody whiskeys. I really like woody whiskeys. That oak that you get in Woodford Reserve and some other bourbons out there. I really enjoy that woody nose, that oaky nose, or uh, just note on the nose, I should say. And you're getting, I'm getting some like burnt sugar on the nose as well. Definitely some caramel, some vanilla. You are getting some spice. Maybe not so much of a rye spice, but more of a baking spice note. So let's go in for a taste, guys. And on the palate, a lot of the same things. I get that. I definitely get that wheat note in there. That note you get on or getting wheat whiskeys, softer note, but again, that oakiness kind of brings forth uh, a little edginess, a little bit of like a wood spice. Get that baking spice in there. Definitely get some caramel, some vanilla. Let's see what else is going on there, guys. I'm getting some. I'm getting a little bit of like a citrusy thing going on with this. A little bit of like orange peel, like just a tart, um, more of a tart, citrusy type taste there. And I'm really enjoying this, guys. I think this is pretty good stuff. We will, as I said, try it out with some water. Not my usual, to put water into a whiskey, but try it out. Just a little bit, guys. And this has a pretty, actually, good, oily looking. I was noticing in the glass just now. Good oily texture to it. It's a little bit thicker than your average. Uh, than your average bourbon. I don't put too much into that, and I don't know what the age statement is on this, guys. Couldn't find an age statement, but I've heard that this is anywhere from 4 to 6 years old. So, again, tough to tell by an age sometimes. I've had ultra aged whiskeys that were good. I've had some that were not good. And then I've had younger ones that, of course, weren't very good, had that, were too youthful on the palate. And then some that, I'm just a few years old, really, really good. So it's tough to tell. And I recommend that everybody try everything out, make your own decisions, before you let anybody tell you that, a younger whiskey isn't good or whatever. Let's check this out with water, guys. And on the nose, water is bringing. It actually is bringing forth I think more like fruity notes. It's actually not, the woodiness is not coming through as much. I get some, I'm getting more caramel there, more vanilla. That's funny. I don't like water much, but I'm actually kind of liking what water's doing to this one. So let's take a taste. More of that, more of that wheat character. Um, Baking spices. Um, I I'm liking what water is doing to this. This is good whiskey. Good whiskey. And this bottle here was $24.99, guys. $24.99. So shoot, sub $30 whiskey. And love the history. Um, and it's not a Stitzel Weller product anymore. I mentioned before that it was when back when the Van Winkles and or Julian Van Winkle and W.L. Weller had their hands in this, producing this stuff way back. And this was actually owned by, this was still owned by the Van Winkle family until I believe 2000. So not that long ago, guys. And it's a Luxco product now. But that connection is still pretty cool. That historical um, aspect is still pretty cool to me. So with everything that I've mentioned, the history, tasting this stuff, this is very good whiskey. I really enjoy this. And I'm going to rate this out at an 86 out of 100. It's not as high as, some that I've reviewed, but 86 is still a solid score, solid B. Um, you know, it's it's not it's not perfect, but for $24.99, this is really good, and I would recommend trying this out. If you guys can find this, as I said, around here in California, I've never seen this before. Never seen it before. I bought this bottle the day before Thanksgiving. Um, so I don't know how readily available it is around the country. But if you can find this, definitely give it a try. Um, I hope you're not disappointed because I was pleasantly, I shouldn't say surprised because I was kind of expecting pretty good things from this, and it delivered. It definitely delivered. So pick up a bottle, guys. Really good stuff. 86, as I mentioned. And that's it for this review. My next couple reviews are going to be. It's funny. I have a blended Scotch that I want to review. I actually have two blended Scotches that I want to review. One of them is a true working man's whiskey. I'm talking $7 for the bottle. But when you see something for $7, it's like you're not expecting much, but try it out just in case you find a diamond in the rough. And I also have a product from Jim Beam that I just bought today uh, for $10. I couldn't believe I got it for $10. And I'm looking forward to trying that one out. I have not had that one yet, so definitely looking forward to that one, guys. That's it for this one. Should have the other my next review on here. Maybe I'll go Jim Beam next, and want to do that one before before next Thursday. So a week from today, I'm actually going out of town, guys. Going on a little family trip to Truckee. If anybody knows where Truckee, California is, it's not quite Tahoe, not quite all the way to Tahoe, but um, you know, there's going to be snow. I'm really looking forward to it. Can use a little bit of a getaway. Things have been kind of hectic lately, so. looking forward to the trucking trip. Looking forward to getting back on here and giving you guys another review before I leave. And that's it for now, guys. Hope you all have a great week, and can't wait to see you guys soon. And until next time, cheers.